Hello, hello. At first I just felt a man. Now I feel a man and a woman. What do I feel like when the equipment's going to shut off? Here we go. I might as well start recording now and start reading.
It is recording.
Oh. Well, there's someone here. Hey, everyone. I'm Kaci Carlson.
I am Kalina Converse.
And this is
Medium
Mixology. We are here. We've got this whole vibe set up. So if you're listening in, we want to invite you to check it out on YouTube because we've got a really fun vibe happening right now. Kalina and I went, with a bunch of other people, celebrated her 40th birthday. Woo-hoo! Yeah. And so we've got a fun drink here and we're going to do a cheers to Kalina. Our drink is a watermelon mojito. So we did some rum, watermelon slices, mint leaves, and simple syrup.
Yep.
We'll post the recipe on our Instagram. So if you're not following there, check us out on the gram. So cheers to Kalina. Happy birthday, girl.
Thank you.
It was so fun celebrating you.
It was so fun.
Cheers, everyone. Whatever you have to drink, just come and celebrate with us. We're really excited to start this one out. It's kind of a little bit, I guess you would say maybe spookier.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah, it's
definitely.
a whole different vibe for us. So we're happy to be here.
Yeah, and I'm happy to cheers with you guys.
Yeah. So every time you hear us say spirit, that's a game we're playing tonight. So you hear us say spirit, grab a drink and sip it. Let's do it. Have a sip. And we're going to dive right in. Let's start talking about Jerome.
Okay.
Should we start
there?
there?
Well, first, let's talk about Jerome. First, we wanted to record from Jerome and take you guys with us, and that was the plan.
Yeah.
And then
a
lot of stuff happened. We had so much fun.
A lot of stuff.
And we didn't podcast. So tonight is a recap of how it went, how Kaci felt throughout the hotel.
Yes.
How my birthday was, what happened, if we got any ghostly vibes and everything like that. So it's our recap and we hope that you enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive in. So should we start with maybe the party bags?
Oh, okay.
Let's do it. Okay. So Kalina was so cute and sweet. Oh, look, it's already glowing. You guys, I don't know if you can see this. She got us these fun little party bags, like party favors, and I'm going to open it up. We'll go through.
I made one for our viewers.
So do you want to explain it?
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I put in the party bags. So there were 12 ladies that came with us. And so magic dozen. Yeah. And I gave each of them party favors. And inside this bag was, the first thing she pulled out is a tarot card. So if you're not familiar with tarot, there are 22 major arcana cards. And so I gave them each a major arcana card, which was their vibe for the weekend. And so what's our major?
So this one tonight is Temperance.
So you guys get Temperance today for our night right now. It's Temperance. And what does that mean, Case?
So Temperance for me is about patience and finding that balance.
Yeah.
And I feel like finding more peace. Tranquility, serenity.
Yes. It's such a good, peaceful card. So it's fun that we got that card. I didn't specifically pick it. We just had a whole bunch and we were like, let's pick a card for tonight and stick it in there. So we did. So we didn't know what it was before. And Temperance really is balance between masculine, feminine, balance between good and evil, balance between all of it. So just that.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I can definitely work on my temperance, my patience.
Right. So that's our card for tonight.
Yes. So that's a good one. And then we have this amazing spray. What was in this one, Kalina? What's this?
It's Palo Santo and Sage. So I picked Jerome Grand Hotel as the location for my 40th. And I kind of did it because it was like a test to see who my true friends were.
That they're going to come to the spookiest hotel in all of America.
People are frightened of it, right? So I'm like, if you're my friend, you'll come celebrate.
I have never been to a haunted hotel because I'm like, look, I can see that stuff at home. I don't need to go to a hotel and invite it more. And my husband has tried for years. I told Kalina this when we got there. I'm like, Adam has tried for years and years to get me to go and I refuse. And then Kalina invites me and he's like, so you're going to go with Kalina? Go with me?
Poor Adam. We'll have to take him sometime.
Yeah.
So it's Sage and Palo Santo. So the point of these gift bags were to kind of protect their energy. So all of the women that went who were a little bit nervous or a little bit not sure about how it was going to go, I tried to put stuff in the gift bags that were specifically to help
calm them.
Do you hear that?
Is that lightning?
It's vibration. Do you feel vibration?
Yeah, I do. But what is that? That's why I thought, was it lightning?
Lightning doesn't vibrate. That's thunder.
Oh, Is that thunder then?
I don't think so. Okay.
Did someone just get here?
I feel like somebody just arrived.
Yeah, because it stopped now.
Yeah, I feel that the density, the energy has shifted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There it is. And I just got the chills. I literally just got the chills. Perfect. So we're going to do a reading right here with you guys. Apparently, we've invited someone.
Yeah, there is absolutely somebody here. It's probably the setup here. I feel a lot of energy. And yeah, I have thoughts on this. So let me go ahead and have that spray.
Let's spray some Palo Santo and sage. Let's spray the heck out of this place.
So this is...
Cover us in that goodness. We're going to go. We're doing a whole shield of Palo Santo and sage.
Oh my gosh.
Spray the hell out of everything.
Drink too. We're
gonna drink it.
It's okay. I feel better already.
Yeah. We're good. We're grounded now.
It smells so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's sage Palo Santo protection spray.
Get you some of that. Everyone needs some of that.
Oh gosh.
We went right to the cat ball. So if you guys have never seen or heard of a cat ball, this beautiful little thing, it has a light inside it. And if any spirit is in the room, you can set it on the ground. So I'm going to see if I push the button, it turns off.
Yeah.
Right?
So
we're going to set it down.
Middle.
Give her a minute to calm down.
Yeah. It goes off for like,
right
I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. And then the light goes off. And the only way it will turn back on is if somebody touches it or a cat. If a cat swats it, that's the goal of a cat ball.
That's how they got the name. Yeah.
Yeah. And so cats love it. So it is now off. If you're watching on YouTube, the cat ball turned off. It's right here next to us. Mm-hmm. If any spirits come or near, the cat ball will instantly like tap, turn on. It'll be a little more tricky because we have our drinks on here. So we'll have to set our drinks down a little bit.
Really
gentle.
slowly. Yeah. Yes. And then this amazing bracelet. This one is the evil eye. Good luck and protection. It is believed that the evil eye protects its owner from harmful energy and negativity.
So everybody got a bracelet.
Yeah. I love this. This was so sweet of you.
I know.
It really did help because
thank you.
I know. No, it was so cute. Because when we first got there, I walked in and I tried to ground myself first. And I actually tried to close off. I was like, I am not open to receive right now.
I just set it down.
She just set her drink down and the cat ball went off. I was like, I'm not open to receive anything right now. I want a minute. So what I'll do is like a visualization and closing my chakras, starting at the crown, going all the way down to the root. And I'm like, I'm closing it off. I felt overwhelmed just walking onto the property. I could feel so much intense vibration. And as we got closer, we went through the door. I was walking through with our friend Lucy and Jasmine, her friend, and we walked in and literally my heart was like boom, 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 boom. It started pounding yes. Right when I walked in and I started scanning the room, right? I walked through the door and I start scanning and my friend's like, what do you see? I'm like, nothing yet, but I'm feeling so much that I feel like I should see it because it's overwhelming. And then my hands started going like this. I mean, they were literally shaking so fast. And she grabbed my hand. She's like, what the heck? I'm like, I don't even know. I haven't felt it this intense before. So I was like, I'm going to reground. I told you guys I'm closing everything off. What are we not getting about this? My chakras are closed.
And so when I saw you, we were coming up.
Yeah.
We were coming up the hill, right? We were walking up. So I didn't see you right away.
No.
And when I saw you, you were a little bit freaking out.
No, I was. I was like, I am not staying here. I already saw.
She said that to me.
Yeah.
She was like, I can't stay here.
Nope. I'm leaving because we had already gone up into the room and I went into the bathroom and there was a woman in the bathroom. There was a spirit in the bathroom, female. And I said, okay, I'm washing my hands. I'm leaving. We're done. And I went out and told my friend, I said, so if you guys, because they kept saying, Kaci, tell us who you see. We want to see a spirit. Like they were ready for it. I'm like, great, go wash your hands in the bathroom. She's in the mirror. So go ahead. And they went in there and they didn't see or feel anything. And I was like, well, I'm leaving. Where's Kalina?
Yeah.
So we walked downstairs and I'm like, I'm out.
So you felt woman energy, but did you feel anything else?
Oh, in the stairs. Before we even went up to the room, we took the stairs because I refused to take the elevator.
Okay, we'll talk about
We'll get into the elevator. And right when I walked in the stairs.
But really quick, why didn't you want to take the elevator?
So the elevator is old as balls. I mean, it is the oldest freaking elevator, right?
There is. Yeah.
Yes.
It is 99 years old.
Yeah. It's so old.
It's
so let's start with
elevator.
Yeah. So let's start with that. It's so old. And I was like, if we get stuck in here, we're also stuck with whatever residual energy or spirit that's in here. And I don't know if it's good or bad. I do believe there was both. It wasn't that it was all dark and super scary, but it was overwhelming how much was there. And I couldn't catch my breath. So I was like, I already don't want to be in this enclosed space. And we can talk about the history behind the elevator.
Let's back up.
Okay.
Let's talk about the history of Jerome first.
Okay. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so Jerome is a mining town.
Yeah.
And the first miners started in 1875. That's when the copper mines began. And what happened was everybody came rushing to the mines to find the copper. But what would happen is in 1875, you didn't go there and take your family. The men would go there and rush there. So at one point, there were 15,000 people living in this tiny little mining town.
Yeah. So it was in like the 1920s.
Yeah. And just for reference, today, there are 450 people living in this town.
Big difference.
It was huge back then. And because it was a mine, there were a lot of accidents and injuries. And some other stuff, which we'll talk about. Mm-hmm. But the accidents and injuries.
Okay, so the cat ball just went off. That's why we both paused. Neither one of us have touched the table.
I feel like somebody's touching me.
Okay. Neither one of us had touched the table that the cat ball is on, and it literally just went off. So check us out on YouTube. So you can see it for yourself.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep, there's the chills. Okay. So let's
can read it, the energy, but let's finish our story. So Spirit, just pause, hang out.
Yeah, give us just a minute to get through the sentence, and then we'll check in.
On this already, though.
Yeah. So New York Sun City Times named it the wickedest city in all of America, right?
In the West.
In the West. That's what it was.
Wickedest city in the West.
The wickedest city in the West.
So it was like New York Times back in like the 20s. It was called the Sun City Times.
Yeah.
In New York. Yeah.
And then I read that it's also still considered like the spookiest town in all of America to this day.
Yeah. Well, it's a ghost town. So everybody fled there, rushed there. There were all of these miners. I mean, it was the 20s. Things weren't great, but they built this ginormous hospital. It was the most advanced, most equipped hospital in all of the West. So like, think about how high tech that must have been. And they put it right in the middle of Jerome. So when something happened to the miners, they would go to the hospital, and there is believed to be over 9,000 deaths in this hospital. It was not just a hospital. They also had a section for the insane. So insane asylum. So lots of history.
Yeah. And the Travel Channel claimed it as one of the deadliest hotels and hospitals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is pretty crazy that 9,000 people have died where we stayed. Because this hospital was then converted to a hotel. So in the 70s, it was rebought, and then it was renovated.
Yeah, renovated.
And it was turned into a hotel.
It is wild when you consider that at the time in the 1920s, only 15,000 people even lived in this town, and 9,000 people died on that specific property. Just that space alone, not even the whole town.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So there are a couple cemeteries there, which I really wanted to go to, but none of my friends were for that.
It's like, we are done, girl.
Yeah. They're like, no. But...
So sorry, I'm trying to fix my dress.
That's cute.
Check us out on YouTube, guys. This will all make a lot more sense. Okay, we are turning the lights on.
No, we're not.
Okay, the cat ball just went off again. Kalina.
Wait, I hear.
There's definitely a man here.
But is it a spirit? Wait, we're supposed to drink every time we say spirit.
Oh. Cheers. Everyone drink up.
Woo.
Spirit. Should we check in for a minute? Let's set our drinks down and so we're going to wait for the table.
We just touched the table and the cat ball did not even go off.
No, we both put our drinks down at the same time, and they're heavy, thick glasses, and the cat ball didn't go off at all.
Yeah. So something has to be hitting it.
Yes. We could ask if there's a spirit in this space, tap the cat ball.
We're not there yet.
Oh, so sorry. She's like, hold the phone.
Go for it. We're
I already opened that door. I opened it.
Oh, they're here.
Okay. I am turning this off, Kalina. We are done recording. You guys, the cat ball just went off. Not like we're that surprised. I already felt a man. Kalina
we did too.
Yeah, we knew.
We knew. I was instantly when I hit record, I was like, someone is here.
Oh, 100%.
She was like, somebody is so here.
Yeah.
Okay, low key though.
But okay.
There's a Ouija board behind.
Where's my card? Temperance. Where's the evil eye bracelet? You guys, I'm opening up the evil eye bracelet and I'm putting it on, Kalina. You're on your own. I have one bracelet.
I'm not scared.
I mean, I'm not. The ball's going off again. I mean, I'm not either, but maybe, you know what? Are you though? You guys, listen, here's why. If it was like family, friend, or my friend was here, or your grandma's coming through, or your aunt's
How do
coming
you know
through.
it's not?
I mean, maybe,
I
but
don't feel like it is.
No, it's a man.
I feel like it's.
And I don't know this man. So I guess that's what. You know what I mean? Okay. So if it's someone I'm familiar with, I'm not scared at all. Homeboy, I don't know him.
I feel like I keep getting touched too.
Okay, we're just gonna.
Okay, so
press forward.
There's so much to talk about here. Okay, first and foremost,
I'm just gonna breathe with my temperance card. Hold on, give me just
there's
a minute.
a Ouija board behind our set here. So there's candles, there's our drinks.
I'm putting that damn board away.
And there's a Ouija board. Do you hear that?
Yes, I do. I'm putting that board away. Right? Kalina, get with me. Right?
Wait, I feel like somebody's outside.
Guys, can we pause this for a minute? And we're going to see who's outside. All right. And we're back.
Okay, so we had to pause for a second because we thought somebody was outside the studio. And no, nobody's out there. It's just spirit, probably. We're going to turn a little bit away from the table here. So if the cat ball goes off, everybody knows that it is not us.
We turned our legs opposite direction, so we're not touching it.
Yeah. Also, behind here is a Ouija board. And I was not allowed to have a Ouija board when I was a child.
Same.
My mom said it was bad.
Yeah, it's dark. It's satanic.
Yeah, and so I wasn't, and it's negative, bad vibrational energy, and I was not allowed to have one. And my dear sweet friend Bridget got me a custom, made out of like cedar wood, beautiful Ouija board.
It is beautiful. It has this engraving. It has, is that like a dragonfly? I feel like it's so pretty.
Like a death moth.
Oh, just kidding. Isn't she pretty?
I don't know what they're called, but like it's like a moth.
I'm gonna go with butterfly because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, Kalina and I were talking about this growing up. We were not allowed to. I wasn't allowed to even talk about the Ouija board.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm not doing that board with you. She had said, "Oh, I really hope I get one. That's all I want to do for my birthday." And I was like, I am not participating. But like, you opened it. And later on that night, we used it, and it wasn't dark at all. It wasn't.
No, it was totally
wasn't
fine.
Bad. And
it wasn't fine. Okay, so let's go back and talk about the history.
Okay,
I'm kind of a history geek.
I am too. I love it. Let's talk about
syphilis.
Let's go right to syphilis.
Can we talk about the syphilis? Okay, there it is. Look.
Yep. Do you guys see the ball? Just went off. The cat ball is
okay. Well, yep, there it is. They
fired up. It's lit.
They want to talk about syphilis.
Okay. Did they die of syphilis?
Okay, let's ask them. Is the spirit here from Jerome Grand Hotel?
What are you feeling? I don't feel like it is.
I feel like it's from the building.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's the building. We've already seen and felt spirits here in the back of the building. And so I don't feel like it is from Jerome. Well, at least we know we didn't
bring it home from the Ouija board or something.
No, because I did start to wonder, honestly.
I did too.
Yeah.
Did you die of syphilis?
Did you die in a car accident?
Did you die of old age?
Okay, the ball is not lighting up, so we'll just keep talking and come back to him.
Are you male? Okay.
We'll come back.
So Jerome Grand Hotel had all of these people who went there from accidents from the mines. It also became a psychiatric hospital for all of Jerome. There are so many stories within Jerome Grand Hotel. Mm-hmm. However, because there were 15,000 men essentially living in these streets, there are like 4 streets in all of Jerome. You can walk everywhere. And there was a place called Husband's Alley.
Mm.
And that was a place that was actually the upper class place for all of the men to go.
For the men to get their little side piece?
Yeah. And get this.
Oh, what?
The women there were about 200-ish prostitutes. And they would sleep with between 30 to 80 men a night.
Stop. Are you serious? You guys, 30? I mean,
I mean, that's not Pretty Woman style. That is like
No,
not
that's a painful
Julia
vagina.
Roberts.
Let's be honest here. I'm like hurting.
You have other holes.
Okay, the ball is off.
It is definitely a man.
It's a man. The second we start talking about the badge, he's like, I'm here, ladies. That cat ball is lit up. Okay, bro, settle down. Settle down. You don't have a physical body. You can't touch us.
I would make the differ as somebody keeps caressing my arm.
Well, I mean, he's trying, apparently.
That's awesome.
Those poor women.
Yeah, 30 days. So this is...
I'm sorry, this ball will not... This ball will not stop lighting up.
I know.
You're very distracting. Can you calm down just so we can finish our podcast?
Okay, so 30 to 80 fuck sessions.
That's a lot of sex.
Yeah.
That's overwhelming. I can't breathe.
Okay, well, so get this. So it's in the like 1900s, right?
Yeah.
Early 1900s. I believe the first like actual hotel there was like in 1855. So like early 1900s to like 1920, like it's really booming. There's 15,000 people there.
Yeah.
There are streets just lined with like prostitutes, and all of the men loved it. They'd work at them.
Okay.
Is somebody here?
There's sound at the door. We're going to pause for just a second.
You're so brave. Casey's talking smack to the spirit. That could be triggering to him. She's telling off the spirit. Okay, look.
That cat ball just went off again. You guys, I swear on everything, we have not touched it.
Okay, so should we put it in a different location to see? Let's put it on the ground.
We're going to move him. Okay.
Yeah, let's put him on the ground just to see.
Settle down, bro.
And just to see if he goes off anymore.
So you guys can still see it on the ground if you're watching. Yeah, he needs to calm down just a little bit so we can get through this. Apparently he has a message for us.
I think he likes the brothel talk. We're exciting him.
Oh, probably.
Okay, so syphilis.
Let's go back to syphilis. Okay.
So they would sleep with all these. They were essentially all sleeping with everyone, right?
But clean it back up. So that many people on the street. So you guys got to look up just photos of Jerome. You'll get an idea of how small the town is. Like how short. Yeah, these streets are short. It's not like this long space for these women to line up, you know?
Yeah. I'm feeling it. Are you feeling it?
100%. I feel like I can't breathe all of a sudden. I'm going to go ahead and drink.
Okay. Because that makes it all better.
That's going to make it better. Cheers.
So there was an outbreak of syphilis there. And I don't know. Everybody knows what syphilis is. It's an STD, otherwise known as an STI. And I'm not sure how much people know about this, but I like knowledge. So syphilis is a disease that attacks your entire body. It is like, it's almost like a flesh-eating bacteria, but it like eats away at your internal organs. It works away at your brain. Like if it gets on your eye, it literally eats away at your eye, and your eye can just pop out and fall
painful.
until you die. That's what syphilis
Such
is.
a painful death.
So think about this hospital.
Yeah. That many cases. Wow.
So there were also
awful.
stories of like, there was a woman there. There's one story at the Jerome Grand Hotel where a woman was 17 years old. She got pregnant out of wedlock, she was probably a prostitute. She wanted to keep her baby, but because she was out of wedlock, they took her baby and put her in the mental area of the hospital. She did not want to be there. She just wanted her baby. And she jumped off the balcony and died because she didn't want to live without her baby. And so now today, and you don't know this, but now today they hear the cries of the baby.
Yes, because so the next morning Kalina and our friend Lucy and I woke up and we all heard a newborn baby crying.
Okay, so I didn't tell you this.
What?
I was there the night before you guys got there, and I was sleeping in a bed by myself. And this is
First off, why the happy are you sleeping by yourself in the
because I'm not scared.
Jerome Hotel
Generally. Okay. I'm all generally. So I'm sleeping in a bed by myself, and I could not sleep because there was so much going on. I was trying to sleep.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to like
you're not like tapping in.
No.
You're not aware.
Yeah. So everything's like closed, and I heard so much that night. I heard a man humming. I heard a gurney going down the hall multiple times.
Oh my word.
I heard a baby crying. Yeah. So I heard all of this stuff happening, and I wasn't going to tell you before you got there.
Yeah, well, because I definitely would have said, and I'm gone.
Well, so the big question is, Kaci had said on previous episodes that in Jerome Grand Hotel, she was going to spoon me.
Oh, yeah, it was. And I did.
True.
I was like,
not only Kaci, but our other friend slept in my double bed with me.
The three of us. She spooned me. It was fantastic. Yep, it was so good.
And if you're watching online, I am messing with a crown on my head. My friends had bought me a black tiara.
It's so cute for her birthday crown.
Yeah, and I had a sash, and we're both in our black outfits that we wore that night.
Yeah, we had such a good time. Okay, back to that room, though, that we slept. That was crazy what happened to you that first night. The second night when I got there and I was sharing this bed with Kalina and Lucy, I got up to go to the bathroom, and it was about, 2 a.m. And I came back to bed, and I was laying down trying to fall asleep, and I heard all this like tapping in the bathroom, almost just like rattling with the stuff that was on the counter, just movement. And I was like, but I didn't feel scared, which is crazy. I just was like, plus we had already channeled we did so many readings.
I wonder if the cat ball be on the ground, on the carpet, if it can't move.
So let's move it to the wood floor.
I don't think they can sit on the wood floor. Oh, yeah, they can. Okay.
So we had already done so many readings before that, and I just was tired and tapped out. And I was like, basically said, I don't want to do this. So can you just go away so I can go to sleep? So the rattling and the noise stopped in the bathroom. And then within seconds, the door, because it's an old hotel, right? Like creaking you hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. The door started moving, and I could hear the creaking of a door slowly moving open. And I was like, gosh, dang it. Like, it's just not going to go away. And it definitely wasn't anyone I know. It wasn't like a family member that had come through earlier or any of that. And so I couldn't fall asleep. I mean, I don't know. I was up from 2 to 4.
Yeah, I didn't sleep at all the night before because I kept hearing things.
Yes.
So low key, when you guys were like, we're going to come sleep with you, I was like,
you're like, I'm actually okay with that.
I really was, because if I could hear your breathing, I wasn't hearing other people's stuff. But the crazy thing is okay, we woke up the next day, and the next day I was like, I heard a baby cry, and I looked at you and I said, is a baby crying? And you heard it too.
Yes. I'm like, there's definitely a baby crying. And then Lucy, who was in our room, she said, yeah, that sounds like a small baby, like newborn baby.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, if the three of us heard it.
Newborn baby.
Yes. Tiny, tiny. And we're like, okay, if the three of us heard it, all three of us are moms. We know a tiny newborn cry sounds like. So we're like,
there must be a baby in the hotel.
Real. Totally. Yeah. It's got to be real if the three of us heard it.
Okay. But then I was looking up. I'm going to pull up my phone. I was looking up stories about Jerome Grand Hotel.
Yeah.
And this is what it says. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Are we really though?
I don't know.
The sounds of a newborn baby's cry is common, as well as the faint smell of baby powder and zinc oxide. The baby's crying has alerted enough guests that they phoned the front desk out of concern, the location being a vacant room.
Oh, my word.
So I don't think there was I didn't see any kids there at all.
No, I didn't see any children. We talked to other adults that were staying there.
Yeah, around our area too.
Yeah, we didn't see any children, didn't see any babies.
The room we were in used to be the labor and delivery room.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense then why we heard it so clear. I mean, it was real.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That's wild. Oh, and then let's talk about the cat. Okay. So the next morning, our friend Jasmine comes in, and we're like, did you guys have any activity in that room? Because that was the room that I saw and felt the woman in the bathroom. She said, like, no, nothing like that. But a damn cat showed up. She's like, straight up, a cat was messing with my feet, like pawing at my feet, trying to get me to wake up. And I kept kicking the cat, trying to get it away. It was this black cat. And we all kind of laughed. We're like, of course that would happen to you, Jazz. Like,
yeah, like what?
Yeah,
and
like
she's not a cat person. She's a dog person.
She is. Yeah, she's got like 4 dogs. So we were laughing about this, and I'm like, a spirit cat? That's interesting.
Yeah, and then
what
I
did
was
you
reading,
find?
And we should have read beforehand, but I kind of like not reading.
Just see what comes up.
Yes, and this is what it says. Let me go to that. Okay, a spirit.
Oh, here we go. Cheers.
Okay. A spirit cat is a frequent visitor to the hotel. Its origin unknown. The cat has been heard meowing, hissing, and scratching at doors and walls. Both staff and guests have heard and felt the cat brushing against their legs and snuggling against them while on the bed. Most notable and commonplace is the imprint on the bed of what is believed to be the cat curled up. That bed moments earlier, smooth and straight.
That was the cat that was harassing Jazz. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is. It's so funny. I think it's so cool. I love
that. So all of this history, almost 9,000 people died there, which they don't have an accurate way of reporting all of them. They,
it's true. What kind of system? It probably was more.
Some of them was buried. There was a cemetery not far from there, and then a secondary cemetery down the hill a little bit. And Jerome is about 100 miles north of Phoenix. So if you can imagine, you're going north, but to actually get to Jerome, it's quite the climb up a mountain.
Yeah.
So the elevation is pretty high. And so they have 2 cemeteries within, and then, which is crazy all in itself that there were 2 cemeteries.
In such a small space.
But the yellow building we passed walking down to like the restaurants and bars was the crematory. So they would cremate the body. So there's no way of actually really knowing everybody because the tracking system wasn't that great. So they're guessing roughly 9,000 people died just in the hotel alone. And one of the most famous deaths is that of Claude Harvey.
This was the man with the elevator?
This is the man with the elevator.
Yeah. This was the one I read about.
Yeah.
And why I was like, I am not going on that elevator.
So here's the fun story that I also didn't tell you.
I love that you're revealing all of this now.
Right on the podcast.
That was smart though.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. I have to get you there.
Exactly. She knew.
So this is not my first time in Jerome Grand Hotel. I had been there previously. My daughter wanted to go for her birthday, right? And so I'd been there previously, but every time I go, more stories like reveal themselves. Yeah. More secrets reveal themselves. And the very first time I went, I was with my aunt and I stepped in to the Otis elevator. And if you guys aren't familiar with what that is, it is an elevator where you press the call button for about 5 seconds. The elevator comes down. You have to open this glass door and then you have to open this gate. Then you get inside. You have to put in a key, turn the key, press the button, and you also have to shut the gate and shut the glass door. If any one of those things is not perfectly aligned, then the elevator is not moving, which means if we go to the 3rd floor and we don't shut the gate and the glass door, that elevator is not moving to any other floor.
Yeah.
So the first time I was there, we opened it. Me and my aunt walked in, and she knows that I pick up on energies. And so she turned around, looked at me, and she's like, "What, are you getting anything?" And I said, "I feel like there's a man behind me." And she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I feel like there's a man that died like on this elevator, like by this elevator." And she was like, "Oh, weird." And here's the other thing. Every time I go there, I get this crushingly horrible pain in my head.
Yeah, did you feel lightheaded? I was so lightheaded.
No, I get like a headache. And here's the crazy part. I am a physical medium. And we haven't really talked about that. But what this means is I pick up on physical sensations if I am doing a reading. If I'm doing a reading and I feel like I'm in a car and it's flipping, I will actually feel like I'm like flipping in a car. Yeah. Or if somebody like overdosed, I'll feel things sliding down my throat. If somebody got shot in the head, I'll feel the shooting in my head. And I'm like, okay, what's he shot in the right side of the brain, right? Like I'm a physical medium. So I feel this sensation, obviously a lot duller than an actual gunshot, but it is pretty excruciating to the point where I'm like, oh, what is that pain? You know, like it hurts. And so I am in the elevator and I feel this excruciating pain in my head. And it's crazy because I forgot until I went back. The second I went back, it's almost like, do you like forget your sensations? I went back and I felt that pain and instantly I told my daughters, I was like, oh my gosh, my head hurts so bad again. And they were like, really? And I was like, oh, I forgot like the pain. And so you opted to not take the elevator.
The first time. Yeah. When we first got there, I said, I'm taking the stairs. And so my friends were like, okay, we'll take the stairs with you. And we started walking, and just a couple steps in, I was like, there's a man in here. And my one friend, she was like, wait, what? I'm like, no, it doesn't mean that he's bad or it's anything scary. There's definitely a man in this stairwell. Like, without a doubt, there's a man.
Okay. So Claude Harvey, it's interesting you say that, because when you take the stairs from the lobby to the next floor, the second floor, is where Claude Harvey's room was.
Oh, that makes sense. And that was right when we walked in. We're a couple steps in. I was like, oh, whoa, there's a man.
Yep.
Like,
he's for me, that's how he is too.
Yeah. And I felt so lightheaded. And I remember, so that was my second time visiting Jerome. I went there, probably like 6 years ago. And the first time I went, I just remember feeling very lightheaded, almost like I was floating, and I just couldn't get grounded. Yeah. It was such an overwhelming energy. And when we got in there, I was feeling the same thing, but it was amplified because of where we were staying.
Yes.
I've never stayed there.
Yeah, it is really intense.
Yeah.
Well, so when I first got there, I felt something in the elevator. Had no recollection or knowingness or anything of who it was or anything like that. Later found out that Claude Harvey, one of the most infamous stories of Jerome Grand Hotel, is Claude Harvey. He was the maintenance man, and his skull was crushed by the Otis elevator. It was found wedged between the bottom floor and the elevator in the maintenance room. But the coroner said that is not how he died. They suspect somebody murdered him and put his head under there to make it look like an accident. But it's like this big scandal because Jerome was such a booming town that they didn't want it to get out. So the police did not, they didn't investigate.
No investigation.
They didn't do an autopsy on the body. Like, they didn't do anything. And
poor
his
Harvey
is the most mysterious homicide in that hospital. And so he is known to wander around and hang out in the elevator.
And it makes sense he's still lingering there, because he's like, hey, you jerks never investigated my death.
When I don't know if you were there. I think you were. So after we went out on the first night, you weren't there.
I was there the second night, yeah.
So I asked the front desk people, they're so great there. I asked them, can you take everyone to the boiler room? And the boiler room, they open the door where it goes back to where you see the Otis elevator and stuff. And so she took us back there, and she was saying, this used to be where the hospital or the ambulance would come in, and they would pull people out on gurneys and rush them up.
Yeah.
And she said Claude Harvey died right over here. And she explained the story. And she said there is a picture in the lobby of all of the people who worked at the hospital.
I saw that when we walked in.
Did you see the man in the plaid shirt on the top right corner?
I'm trying to remember.
His is the only one where his face is black. You cannot make out his face. And his head was crushed. So it's like a perfect picture from the 1900s, perfect picture of everybody that worked in the hospital. And then there's this man, and you can see his full body, and his is the only one where his face is completely black.
Oh my word. Yeah, because I remember there was a picture of a nurse. I remember seeing the nurse.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to go back and look at the photos.
Yeah, so there's tons of stories there.
Yeah. It's wild. And you can feel it. So I didn't read up a bunch on it. I kind of just wanted to go and see what I felt. Plus I was worried if I read too much, it would kind of freak me out. So I saw a couple of things. But it was interesting that the stuff that we saw and felt, to find out later that
because I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you any of that.
No, I didn't know anything about that. He kind of hangs out near the stairwell,
and we didn't know about the cat. We had to research it. We know about the baby. We had to research that.
Yep. We didn't know about any of that. So that was kind of fun.
It's
cool. Yeah. You guys should check it out. It is fun. It's a fun place. It is pretty quiet. There's not a lot of people living there. So
what I love is that we all drove to the hotel, parked our cars, and then we walked the rest of the weekend. We didn't have to move our cars at all.
We just walked through the whole town.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Okay, so speaking of walking through the town.
Yes.
Something kind of amazing happened with me and Kaci. And it is probably one of my favorite things from the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Because it was an experience that it was something I've never experienced before.
Yeah, same. I never have.
I mean, when would we ever have experienced that? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's true. When are you with another psychic medium
Okay.
that you do this? So
Yeah,
we'll tell you what we're talking about.
So here's what happened. One of our friends, her name's Jasmine, she brought one of her friends that we had never met before. Mm-mm. And she was like, hey, I'm coming up. I have my hotel room. I'm inviting my friend Allie. We're going to have a great time. And I was like, love it. I am the more the merrier. Bring your friend Allie.
Yeah,
we'll be best friends with her too.
Yeah. Like I knew her name and I saw her once at Jasmine's house, but I didn't know details about her.
Yeah, I'd never met her. And I love everyone, right? Yeah. I'm just like, yay, more friends.
She's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was a second thing that happened this night too. We'll tell that one too. So the first one is we
all went out. We were out to eat.
Yeah, we were at a restaurant. We were at the Haunted Hamburger. Highly recommend.
So good.
And it was fun because we were sitting next to each other by coincidence. Like we didn't actually take any pictures.
No, and we didn't like plan anything out. We sat down by each other, and then Jasmine and Allison, and then your other friend. I hadn't met her until that night. Nicole. She was there. So I had just barely met her name. But I looked over at Allison and all of a sudden I saw like sailboats. And I was like, is there some connection with sailboats? And like, I don't know, something with sailboats. And she's like,
instantly, she said, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, hold on. We're going to use you for a minute. And she was like, what? And I'm like, we don't know you. So we're going to test kind of our skills and see what we can pick up with you if you're open to it.
Yeah.
And she was game. She was
so fun.
She was like, heck yeah, go for it. Tell me everything you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Kaci said the sailboat thing. And I was like, was it your father? Was your father a sailor? Mm-hmm. And then the second I said that, Kaci picked up and she said,
yeah, I said, so there's some connection you feel like on the water. You feel your dad when you're on the water. She said, yeah, he taught me how to sail. And then I was like, what is something with cruise ships? And wasn't that when you said, oh, something with your husband?
Late spouse.
Yeah, your late spouse.
Is your spouse passed? And she said, yes, he is. And I said, and you said, but you haven't been on the water since
he passed, like on any type of cruise ship. She said, yeah, the last cruise ship I went on was with him.
And then I was like, oh, so you're kind of avoiding. Mm-hmm. So what essentially was happening, this went on for a very long time. Like we did her dad, we did her, her husband came in, her grandmother came in. She was very connected with her grandmother. And I would pick something up and I'd be like, oh my gosh, your grandmother on your mom's side, you were very close to her. And Kaci was like, oh, and you still make her apple pie. And I was like, oh, and I feel like you were closer to her than your mother. And Kaci was like, yes, I see that your grandmother actually raised you, not your mother. And we were essentially sharing energy. Our heads were like very close. We were sitting right next to each other. We were head to head. Apart. We weren't looking at each other. We were looking at her.
We were focused. We were zoned in. But something about having us that close, and it was just like boom, boom, boom.
We were sharing energy. It's almost like it was the easiest I've ever channeled anyone.
Same.
Because it was almost like not just my energy, I was pulling from yours.
Yes. I felt the exact same way. I was like, that came through so fast. I wasn't having to like take a minute to check in and open myself up
like we
and be
meditate.
ready for it.
We didn't like anything.
We're eating a hamburger and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, sailboats. And then Kalina was like right there. And so boom, we just went back and forth. But it was so cool, you guys. We want to be able to do this. It would be so fun to do it with a huge group of people.
Yeah, like on a stage.
Yes, on a stage. Just gather everybody and see what comes up. It would
we
be
should
so
bring
much fun.
Somebody here to record it and see somebody we don't know. We'll invite one of our friends to bring another friend. Somebody we don't know, male or female. We'll never know anything. And then we'll start the podcast. They can come in and then we should try it again.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Because we can share energy and do it. And we ended up doing it for not just her, but for a couple people that night.
Yeah, we did. And it was wild how accurate everything was.
How fast it was.
Yes, it was so fast. It really was. It was fun. Like I don't know.
It was cool. So fun. It was one of my favorite parts.
Me too. Yeah, I felt the same.
Okay, so my other favorite part of this weekend. So after we ate dinner, we went out dancing and we love to dance. Yes. And there was a live band and they all sang happy birthday to me.
They were so cute. They were good.
And my friends were like the best ever. Like they made sure I always had water in one hand and a drink in another. Like I did not buy a drink that whole night. Everybody was just so sweet. And like
there to have a good time.
It was high vibrational. Like every girl loved every girl. Like we were just, you guys, a lot of you had just met. a lot of you were from past classes, yoga teacher training classes. Yeah. So you guys didn't all know each other and everybody just vibed and supported. Yeah. It was like women supporting and lifting and cheering on other women. We were all dancing together. It was fun. The best time ever.
It really was.
And in this night, we were all dancing and somehow another woman that wasn't in our group bumped into me. She turns around. She says, "Happy birthday." And I said, "Thanks." And I turned and looked at her and I said, "Oh, you and your sister are out together." And they looked at me and they're like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, your sister." And they were like, "How do you know? We look nothing alike. How do you know that's my sister?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And they're like, "Are you like clairvoyant or something?" And I was like, "Well, I'm psychic."
So they knew right away.
And they were like, "Wait, what?" And they're like, "What can you tell us about ourselves?" Yeah. And I said, "Well, I know you're the older sister. She is the younger sister, but she is in a very serious relationship that you do not love. And you thought you would be the first one to get married, but you just broke up with the guy that you thought you were going to marry. And your heart is a little bit broken right now. And you're having trouble supporting your sister." Like I was totally reading them. And first of all, I was a little tipsy. So like it was fast.
Yeah.
And they were loving it. They were like, "Wait, tell us more, tell us more, tell us more." And they were like, "Who are you? And where can we find you?"
Of course. Yeah.
It was the first time I have ever been able to say, "Wait, follow me on Medium Mixology."
I love it.
It was the greatest. And then
that's so cool.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, come hang out, come dance with us, whatever." Yeah. Right. And all of my friends look at me like, "You have 12 friends here and you're bringing more. Like, why are you hanging out with strangers and not you?" Because I'm just like, "Yay, everybody be friends and everybody love everything." And they like hung until we walked out. When we left, they left. And so they're like, "I'm going to follow you." And I was, so a few girls are on here. Aww. Hello. Love to
Hi, ladies. Yeah. We love the sisters following I know.
So it was so fun. It was
really
great.
Cool. I love that was your first time. That's so cool. Yeah. Sorry, guys, we keep hearing noises. We're like, what is it?
No, wait, like the door.
Yeah.
This hasn't gone off since, though.
No, it hasn't. And I don't feel him as strong.
I don't either. Should we move it up again? See?
Yeah.
Once we got up.
Yeah, because we heard a noise outside. And since then, I don't feel him anymore. And the cat ball is not lit up. It's not going off.
I kind of feel him back now that we're talking about him.
Oh, dear.
Well, so it was a really fun weekend.
It was really cool.
So was it more or less scary than you thought?
It was less scary than I thought it would be, for sure.
At first, you were a little intimidated.
Yeah, at first. And I look back on it, and honestly, I feel like it's because it was so much at once. It was overwhelming. Like the frequency there, just when you arrive in the town. And then especially walking into that specific building, that hotel, it was overwhelming also for me physically. How you were saying, like being a physical medium, you can feel the things that happen to them. I couldn't calm my heart. My hands were shaking.
I think
like
that's
crazy.
Where the blocking and the protection really, you have to be able to close it off.
Yep. Yeah. I kept trying to reground. It was just overwhelming for me.
Like when I heard the gurney go down the hall, I consciously was aware, hey, that's not an actual gurney going down the hall. Like I knew that was like, okay, this is like residual energy. And so I just have to be like, okay,
kind of just like let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I see you. I feel you.
So it was a good practice. I feel like
for, Salem.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to take you to Salem with us. Yeah. And,
that's going to be a good time.
It's going to be, we're ready.
Yeah. We're excited.
So I don't know if you knew this, but I
love she throws stuff on me when we're recording.
I know. I'm like, you know nothing, but I'm going to tell you right now. So Jerome Grand Hotel it is 2025. So it is about 100 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was built in 1925.
Mm-hmm. What was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exactly about 100 years old.
That's wild.
And the house we're staying in Salem.
It's 100 years old?
It's over 200 years old.
Oh my word.
It is a historical house.
Oh, there's going to be so much there. Okay, that's going to be fun. I'll be the big spoon.
It's fine. That's amazing. Okay, let's do a question.
Yeah. What do we got?
So we get questions to our emails. If you have not emailed us a story or a question, we would love to hear them. You can email us at
mediummixology@gmail.com.
Yes, at Gmail. Okay, so here is the question. And I saved kind of a spooky one. Actually, okay, I have two. Two people wrote it. One of them was one of the ladies that was there with us this weekend.
Mm.
And I want to read you what she wrote because she knows we do the podcast. And she was in Jerome with us. And this is what she said. When we were in Jerome, when walking down the street where the little coffee shop was, it felt like a gunshot through my shoulder blade at a weird angle. But we kept walking and it went away almost immediately.
Yeah, I remember her saying this actually.
So here's the thing. I didn't tell you guys this.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we were walking and she was like, Kaci, did you feel that? And I said, well, I'm feeling like I'm floating, if that's what you mean. She said, yeah, no, that too. But I felt like a gunshot come through. And I was like, oh, I didn't get that.
So there are so many incredible stories in this town. And I took all my friends on a walking tour the first night before you and Lucy was there.
Yeah.
And when I took them on a walking tour, I like showed them this was the first brothel, and this is the first theater, and this is the scandal that happened here, and this is the scandal that happened there.
Yeah.
And I just love history. So like I just read a lot to know, right? And so I'm taking them around, and we walked past a park where on the other, like where it literally is just steps away from that coffee shop.
Mm.
And that park, there was a shootout. So two men were fighting over one of the prostitutes. And it was a situation like, no, she's my whore. And he was like, she's my whore.
Yeah.
And they got in a shootout. And they shot at each other, and like some of them died right there or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, of course, naturally, City of Jerome, Town of Jerome is like, let's build a playground in a park right over the...
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So that is where the shootout occurred.
Yeah, and that's right where we were walking.
I don't think she knows that.
Uh-uh.
Well, she will when she listens.
Yeah, she will.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
that is
very sad. Rest in peace.
I know. Right.
Well, isn't that fun?
Isn't that fun?
Okay, so that was one thing. There is also, this story is by one of my previous students, and it is fantastic. Hi, ladies. Love everything about your podcast and cannot wait to see this journey unravel for you both. Her name's Laura. Thank you, Laura.
Mm.
My story. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. When my daughter, Gracie, was 4, we lived in an apartment building that was 5 or 6 stories high, and we lived on the top level. The complex was built beside a man-made lake, which was gorgeous and peaceful at times, but silent and eerie at times as well. One night, at about 8:30 or 9 p.m., my best friend and I were laying on the living room floor listening to music, and Gracie was in her room laying down. Nothing was on but the radio, and I heard a grudge-like noise. Instant chills ran down my back. What's a grudge-like noise?
A grudge-like noise.
I think it's from the movie Grudge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like a growl.
Mm.
I think it's like
a groaning growl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to sound nice in the mic. Instant chills ran down my back. My friend and I look at each other in disbelief and rush to get my daughter out of her room. I peeked my head in her room, hiding my fear, and see she's awake. So I go in and invite her to come out in the living room with us girls. Mind you, I'm being intentional with hiding that I have a knot in my stomach. So she's invited to come listen to music with us, lighthearted and playfully. Well, I couldn't shake the feeling, so we say, hey, let's go have a late night meal at Denny's. Like it's a fun thing to do. But really, it's because I'm terrified inside and cannot for the life of me shake it. We get dressed and leave the apartment heading to the elevator. We are all 3 in the elevator going down, and no one is really talking. My daughter, out of nowhere, looks up at me and says, "Don't worry, Mommy, my skin is still on."
What?
Like, excuse me, what the heck did she just say? In absolute disbelief, I ask her to repeat what she just said, and she does. I don't want to even know why she just said it or talk anymore. So I say something like, oh, okay, that's okay. Good baby. And we hustle up to get in the car to get the heck out of there. It doesn't end there. We are at Denny's, sitting down, getting settled in, and Gracie has to go to the bathroom. I get up, and while walking to the bathroom, we pass a group of older women at the table to our left who says, we need to pray for them.
Oh
Again, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We eat and prolong this evening as long as we can so I can calm the anxiety and somewhat shake what I'm feeling. However, it is late and I have a 4-year-old with me, so there is an obvious need to get her back home and get her into bed. So we do just that and head back home. It doesn't end there. We get back home, go up the elevator, and are walking to our apartment door when we run into an elderly couple who happens to live in the apartment right after us. They had their dogs in a leash and were either just returning from a walk or heading out. Either way, we had never met them, and I was not in a mood to be chatting with anyone after this eventful evening, but nonetheless, we say hello. They extend a hand and offer their names while asking ours. I introduce myself only, and the husband asks my daughter name. I say Gracie, then again am hit with a knot in my stomach for unknown reasons. The husband does a little chuckle to himself and touches her head and says Grace. He removed his hand quickly so it wasn't like a lingering weird touch, but still, ick, get your hand off my child feeling was there. So I pulled her into me. Before going inside, I take this moment and chance to ask the neighbors if they have heard any weird noises or noticed anything unusual going on in their apartment. He then explains that him and his wife are ghost hunters and they travel around following spirits. I don't tell him my story because by now I'm ready to block everything out and just get me and my daughter to sleep to forget this evening even happened. So I cut the conversation there and he says his goodbyes and offers to cleanse our apartment if we ever need. Nothing more happened that evening. However, a few weeks later, the industrial mirror came off the bathroom wall and cracked in two. Do you think it's related? No idea. Needless to say, we moved out of there shortly after.
Wow. That is spooky. That's wild. I would have moved out that night.
But realistically, what do you do if like you actually have fear in your physical home? People can't just leave the next day. They have mortgages and rents and like, holy shit.
That's a lot. No, I would have busted out the sage, the crystals. I'd be praying. I'd be casting out. I would do all my things.
Especially if you have a little child.
Yeah. Like, and when they say something like that.
Don't worry, mommy. My skin is still on.
I would have said, baby, we're saying a prayer. Hold still. Like, and I would have sage all over her.
Yeah, that's intense.
That's a lot. Yeah. I feel like I would be doing a ton of visualization as well, like that protective bubble, and just cover our beds.
Okay, so do
that.
you think that if they were ghost hunters, there were spirits, like negative energies that were following them that like creaked through the cracks of the other?
I do, especially because they would say ghost hunters. Something about that, I don't know. I feel like that sometimes can be tapping into opening yourself up for some of the dark spirits.
Yeah.
So to say ghost hunters is different than saying we're mediums, psychic mediums that talk to spirit. There's a whole different energy there even just when I say it, I feel like. So yeah, they probably did have some type of lingering attachment, or they're bringing them with them because that's what they're inviting all the time.
What's interesting is that the people at the table, the group of women who were like, we need to pray for them.
Yeah. That was,
I wonder if they could feel it.
Mm-hmm, they probably could. They're like, there is something
So
there.
if you have an attachment or if you feel like that's in your home, like,
yeah,
that's not good.
No, it can be very frightening, but then they feed off that fear. So it's so hard because it's like this balance.
Ooh, temperance card tonight.
Yeah, it goes back to that, finding that balance and serenity and peace.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many things you can do for protection. We've talked about it a little bit
on past podcasts. Yeah, that was a really great story.
That's a really good one. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
That was
Laura.
really good. Thank you, Laura.
Yay. Okay, guys. I think that wraps up our Jerome recap.
Yes. Thanks for hanging with us.
I know. It was fun.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for Salem.
Me too. I feel like we're going to have a lot of good stories with that.
Hey, Kaci.
Yes.
Spirit.
Let's do it. Drink up.
All right, guys. Good night.
I'm Kaci Carlson.
I am Kalina Converse.
And we are
Medium
Mixology.
Bye.